America is the worst place when it comes to social life. Like, I've been back in the States for about a week now, and I have no idea how people live here. Like every time I've come back to America from either like Asia, Africa, like it's just like I have a reverse culture shock because it seems like people are just like dead inside. Like you look at people's eyes and it's lifeless. And then you just like ask people like, yo, okay, today's Friday. What is going on today? I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, okay.
That is so true. Anytime you ask coworkers or people on the street or your friends, what are you looking forward to? What you got planned for the day? What you got coming up? Like, they never actually give an answer that they're excited about. Even if they do have something good coming up, they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe next weekend we're gonna go do a concert or we're gonna go travel out of state. And no one's like excited about it. So I can definitely relate to what this guy's saying.
Hey, what you been doing? Like, I've been going for like 4 months. Like, what have you been up to? Nothing, man. Just maintaining, man. I'm like, yo, like, what the hell have you been doing? Like, every time I leave 3 months, 6 months, and then when I come back to America, it seems like nothing ever changes. Like, people are still in the same rut that I left them in. Like nothing ever changes. And the people are just like lost. Like, it really looks like people are like zombies here. Like, and then like, I'm talking about social life. Specifically, this video is about social life. Because I've been back here and I've been trying to figure out like, what can I do here? Like what can I do? Like Friday.
Yeah, once you get into that rut after school, you have a job, you come back, you're too tired to do anything, and even if you do have plans, you just have no enthusiasm about anything. A lot of it also tends to come from a place of sometimes mental health or a hopeless outlook on the future. So what he's saying is dead on about people kind of being dead in the eyes sometimes. There's no life there. There's not like a lot of hope. And this isn't everyone, but I would say kind of the majority of people you run into during your day-to-day life.
Saturday, Sunday feels like Monday, Tuesday. Like none of the days are different. Like what do people do here? Let me know what you do here in the comment section, because apparently I must not know. I must be too desensitized to America to actually come back here and figure out what you do. Because like going out to the club seems like the biggest waste of money. Like you're gonna spend $30, $40 to get in the club, and then nobody's really talking to each other. Like everybody just look at each other like crazy. And then like when you're walking around America, like the streets are just empty.
Oh, that is such a huge thing in my experience. Unless you live in a very urban environment, usually a downtown of some sorts, there is nobody walking on the streets most times of the day. There was one time I did live in a suburb, and for some reason around 6, 7 p.m., everyone and their mothers came out to walk at sunset, so that was pretty cool, and you got to know the people there pretty well. But outside of that, people just do not even walk on sidewalks and stuff, and I don't blame them for that. Our accessibility and I guess you could say warmness of walking places is just not there.
Like that's one thing that I like about Africa, like Nairobi specifically, is like not everybody has a car. So like when you walk around, you meet people. When you go to the malls, you see people. Here, like even if you go to the mall, it seems like it's a waste of time because the mall is empty. It's like people do not leave outside their house. Like,
yeah, I've seen that too. There's been a lot of speculation on the death of malls lately. I would say it's more of in a transition period to where weather permits, malls are transitioning more to an outdoors, kind of almost experiential consumerism type of environment. But yeah, most malls I've been to that are inside only, most of them, yeah, they're dead in the water. Not a lot of people there at almost any time of day.
Like, why? What are you doing in your house? Like I feel like this is the most isolating place there is in the world. Like I've been to a lot of countries, and
Uh, I would throw an honorable mention in there for Sweden. I don't know if you guys have seen that meme about how Swedes wait for the bus, but they're literally all spaced like 10 yards apart. But America, like the United States, can be very isolating, absolutely.
I never seen a place as isolating as America. Like, there's no incentive to talk to your neighbor. There's no incentive.
I always wanted that growing up too. A lot of neighborhoods don't know each other that well. I often find that that's one of the worst parts of the suburbs is that you can be in a place where all you have is neighbors and no one actually wants to be a neighbor. My family got lucky and actually knows the two people next to us from many years ago. But outside that, yeah, I've seen a lot of people not have any sort of neighborhood life or community.
I don't know. I feel like somebody's walking by. There's no incentive to like talk to anybody, and I can see like why people here feel so lonely. Because like in many other countries I go to, I probably don't know nobody there. Probably my first time there, but I don't feel lonely. But I've been back here for about like a week, and like I feel lonely. And the crazy part is like my family's here, my friends are here, but like I never get a chance to see them. Like they don't leave their houses. They're either concerned about going to work the next day or some other BS that's not really important. But like, even though you can live like 3 blocks away from your family, or your family lives the next town over, you will never see them in America because they're always caught up in the rat race. And like I don't really know how people deal with this. Like if I was forced to actually stay in America and not leave, like somebody just took my passport and said, oh yeah, okay, kid greatness, you cannot travel no more. I might, yeah, I'm not gonna say that on camera, but I would not be able to deal with it. Like, cause it is terrible here. Like even dating, if you're single in America, like where do you meet people? Like where, like the club is absolutely useless. Like the club, forget about that. Where would you actually go to meet women in America?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I think at this point in 2025, everyone has had an absolutely hellacious time on dating apps. Most of my friends, both guys and girls, look at dating apps with disdain, and they've actually started to go back at it the old school way, just meeting people in real life. I remember my ex-girlfriend, I met her at Costco while we were both shopping, and that ended up being a 3-year relationship. I just don't think that would have happened if I was on dating apps the whole time and not meeting people in real life. I think that most of the time, if you live in the US specifically, there's not a lot of spaces outside of work and maybe a hobby to meet people. There's been a lot of disincentives that have been introduced into the social culture of America. When I say social culture, I mean the diminishing social culture. There's been a real decrease in third places where people can mingle and meet each other, not even just for the express purpose of dating, but also to develop new connections. I think that's why most people like cafes so much, is it exists as a space where you have the option to actually mingle with other people, but you're not required to.
Like how do you even set up dates? Like Tinder, like Bumble, like online dating is absolute trash. So you're not meeting people there. You can't go to the club. You can't go to a bar. Like where are you going? Like how do you meet people? You can't even go to the mall because the malls are deserted. Like there's nobody at the mall.
Ooh, this has been really huge lately too. Malls have really been dying. I remember when I was in high school, the mall was the place to go. It was a small-ish town. You couldn't really do that much there. So after class, after school, it was either go to somebody's house or go to the mall. And you would literally run into half of your school at the mall because that was the only thing to do. I've heard that these days, besides the dying mall population, that also they're discouraging teenagers and younger people than that from going to the mall because they just want people to get in and get out and buy their merchandise as quickly as possible. I've heard the infamous, essentially like dog whistle alarm sound that's supposed to only be audible to younger generations, and that is just super anti-human. Not even anti-consumer, it's just anti-human, because you shouldn't be putting in countermeasures for people visiting a place, especially a place as public and supposedly accessible as that.
Like, I don't know how you make friends and date in America. Like, I don't know how you have a social life in general. Like I think I seen one of my friends, like, what was that, last Saturday? And he could not tell me one thing to do here. Like, I have been gone most of the year. Like, I've been traveling through Europe, I've been traveling through Asia, I've been traveling through Africa. So I'm like, bro, just give me up there. Like, what can I do this weekend?
Oh, that is so true. The awkward thing about living in any place that doesn't have one monolithic attraction is trying to explain what there is to do there. You live in this city or that city, cool. What's there to do there? Everyone says, oh, there's food, there's bars, there's maybe a museum or something like that. Most people don't know what there actually is to do in their town. That can be remedied and fixed if you actually do a little digging in your hometown or wherever you're residing. But it's definitely not available on a surface level to most people that live in that place. You kind of have to get plugged in either through a group or through like a lot of searching, essentially. And that is difficult for a lot of people because they're just spending so much time either at work or at home and not really exploring third places that they could be frequenting.
No, bro. I don't know. Maybe go to Massachusetts. Like, go where Massachusetts? I don't know. Like, bro, what you been doing? I don't know. That's everybody's like, I don't know. And it's like everybody has this look of sadness in their eyes. And I don't think most people can recognize it because they've been in America and they haven't traveled. So they don't know what it looks like outside the States when people are not all just miserable. Like, but everybody you meet in the States, they have this look of sadness. Like, I just walked past, like, I'm in a park right now. There was a guy sitting in a bench across from me. And when I walked past them, my man looked like he was desperate for somebody just to say hi to him.
This happens even when they're with people too, by the way. I actually was longboarding down a sidewalk today and I saw somebody that was with either like their homegirl or his girlfriend, but I just looked at this guy's eyes and they just look so dead. They look like they could be in a serial killer inspired documentary of some sort. They're just dead. There's just nothing there. It just was looking like he was hating life. Now, of course, that could be just a resting face that doesn't look very friendly, but I recognize this look in many people, not just this one person. I think this is just the most poignant example of that.
Like, he looked like if I would have said hi to him or so, like, how you doing, bro? That would have made his day. Like, that's not normal. That is not normal for people to be starved for attention, for human interaction. Like, that is not normal. Like, that's a very American thing. Like, even when I went to Eastern Europe, like, Eastern Europe was not like that. Like, there were places for people to congregate and have conversations. Like, people would go to, like, in Serbia, Republic Square, where people, like, families would walk around 9 o'clock.
I've heard of that. In Europe in general, there's these places called town squares, and people congregate there and just hang out. I'm imagining it's probably something similar to a city center in the U.S. or public park that cities have sometimes, but yeah, town squares and places outside of big cities, I feel are incredibly lacking in the US. There's no that's a great example of a public space where you can just go to hang out and you don't have to pay just to exist there. And that is just an awesome place to mingle and get to know the locals and your neighbors or whoever else might be around. A good example of this is if anyone has been to Pioneer Square in Portland, Oregon. That's a great example. People are hanging out, eating their food that they got from the food carts around, or they gathered just to play some card games, or dance, or listen to music, or use it as a meeting spot to go somewhere else. It's this really unique and lively social area that is unfortunately usually not found in smaller towns.
Like 10 o'clock at night, or just sit outside and just like drink a smoothie or something and just have a conversation, or have a cup of coffee and have a conversation. But here, there's none of that in America. Like, I don't even know one event that is designed for families or friends to just go outside and just congregate and socialize with each other. Not even like I'm not talking about something special like a party or some type of festival. I'm just talking about like on a Monday or Tuesday evening, somewhere where people can go and actually have a conversation with somebody.
One thing that has been popping up more lately has been food courts, and not the type of food courts that you would normally see in a mall, but food courts that are specifically only for food with no adjoining structures. They can be open air plans or they can be within a closed building, but I've noticed that these places have also started forming events for the community that surrounds them. So they'll have a live comedian night for people that want to try their comedy chops, or they'll have live music. Or I remember one place actually had like an Oktoberfest special event that was happening. So there are some places that are starting to pop up like that, but it's still very new, and I think most places still do not have this. It's mostly in areas that are growing right now.
I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the one that's going crazy, but this is not normal. Because like I've been in the slums of Africa. The slums of Africa where people have no money, they barely got a roof over their head, they don't know what their next meal is, but they don't have that look of sadness in their eyes. Like they like that look of like, it looks like their eyes are lifeless. When you look at a lot of people in America, next time, look, do me a favor. Next time you're walking around the streets of America, just look at people's eyes and see how lifeless they are. And like when I was in the slums of Africa, like people were way more happier. People actually congregated and had conversations with each other. Like when I was in Kenya, like any day I can go out and find somewhere to socialize. And I'm not talking about going to like a club or a bar. I'm talking about just going out and finding people. Wow, this wind is absurd.
I visited my sister in South America, and she was working at an orphanage, and these kids had been through so much trauma in their life, and yet they were still so happy, even though they only had electricity 4 hours out of the day, and they had to chase these massive rats out of their food supply. They were so happy just to chop up an anaconda with their machetes as game, as fun. It's very interesting how just a socially thriving environment can impact positively the mental health and well-being of people, no matter what they've been through. And the one small town that was nearby, everyone was very friendly. They would say hi to you just going down the street. And not the hi that you get when you enter a store and they're obligated to say hi to you because they want you to buy something. It's the type of hi where they recognize that for a period of time you are part of their community, and it's good to know all of your neighbors and guests that are local and nearby. And it was just such a warm feeling, despite there being mud roads and literally they had open air like sewer canals going down some of the streets. It was pretty intense. But I do remember how lively and just how energetic and social people were.
And that's not unique to Kenya. The same thing happens in Thailand. The same thing happens in Indonesia, the Philippines. Like there's always some place where people go to congregate, even if they have no money. Even if they're just going there to have like a cup of coffee. But America is not like that. It's like America is designed to like isolate you, and then you have to fill in the holes with like, I don't know, video games, alcohol, some type of consumable that you need so you can waste some of your money so you can try to fill that hole. And I think the only way people really socialize now in America is social media, and that would explain why people are so damn crazy here now, and they think that the world is social media, and because they never go outside to actually talk to people. Like there's something really broken here, and I don't think people really talk about that. Like, but stuff is really, really broken here. Like, this is not how a society's supposed to be. This is not how a society is supposed to run. Like, people should not just be cogs in the machine. Because literally that's what it is. Like, it feels like when you're back in America, you're just a cog in a machine. You're just a number. And if you're not producing, like, you have no use in society. You don't exist.
Yeah, that's one thing I've actually talked to a couple people about, which is that feeling of your self-worth being tied to either your productive capabilities or to your social media. And neither is going to really fill that hole of connection that we all, as humans, naturally need and crave. I think this actually gets worse after you get out of school, because in school you're still living relatively a normal life in the sense that you have to interact with people face to face on a constant basis, whether that's group projects, whether that's talking to your professor, whether that's your housemate or your dorm mate. That goes away after college, and now it's kind of on you to figure the rest of it out. And a thriving social life takes energy and investment to actually bring to life. A lot of people don't have that much energy after they start getting a full-time job. So that is one of the problems that is currently plaguing United States.
And even if you do have some type of, you are producing, like, you still don't get any incentive to or reward for that. You just get to be by yourself. Cause like, even if you have like family here, like say you have a family, say you're raising a family, what are you gonna be doing then? You're just gonna be working 24/7 to try to support them because America is too fucking expensive. Like,
yeah, and all those problems I mentioned, those were for single people that are out of school. The problems get way worse when you have a family of your own and you have people depending on you. Because now, all of your free time is going to be dedicated to working, aka providing for your family, and actually spending time with that family. And because families don't socialize together that much, now you're essentially peerless, and not in the good way. You're peerless in the sense that you don't have other people to connect with, or maybe you do, but you just have no time anymore. And that's really not a great spot to be in.
Like, oh my God, man. I don't know the answer to this problem. Like, I really don't know the answer, but I know there's something wrong. You can feel it. Like, you literally feel it. Like I feel like I'm out of place. Like, I feel like I'm in like some type of twilight zone. Like, cause like I can see it. And then when you try to explain it to people, people just look at you crazy, like, what are you talking about? Like, isolating, lonely? I don't know if people don't want to admit it, because, like, who would want to admit that, like, you have really no friends, you don't have a girlfriend. Like, your best friends are your coworkers who don't even care about you, like.
That's another thing about being socially isolated and lonely. It is never a good look to admit that you are those things. You are usually in a state of always keeping up this mask that everything's okay when everything's not. And there's something to be said for that in certain environments. You want to be professional when you're at work. You don't want to be oversharing with people that don't really care about you. But with people that do care about you or that you're close with, it's really important to be able to be vulnerable when there is a safe environment for you to do so. Because a lot of people are struggling with this. And it's just not sexy to be able to say, oh, yeah, I'm lonely. And I wish I had more friends or more people I could talk to or more people that felt like I actually have a real connection with.
So when you try to talk about these things, like, I feel like people just look at me crazy. But yeah, there's definitely something wrong with this place. This is not right. And I don't think I can live here. But yeah, this is your boy K Greatness.
I think that's also why we're seeing a lot of people explore options with moving to different countries and trying different living arrangements outside of the US, is because quality of life in some ways is vastly better outside of the US, especially socially. For example, if you go to most other countries, when you're walking into town, there's usually going to be people that are on the same journey as you. You can like walk past people, actually see like that people are going about their daily lives, not just stuck in their cubicle car going from one place to another. The infrastructure here really lends itself to some of the social issues. And I'm not saying that everyone should be taking public transit, because I know that's just not an option in many scenarios for many reasons. But I am saying that the whole culture and structure of most of the US is very isolating. You go to by yourself in your car to work, and then you work in this one space, and you don't talk to your coworkers about anything other than work, and then you are too tired to do anything after you get off, so you could just go straight back home, and then you do that for 5 days out of the week, and maybe if you have energy you can do something on Saturday or Sunday. But yeah, the United States it gets very difficult to have a social life after college. So let's take a look at the comments here. The problem with America is that nobody trusts anybody. People look at other people as potential threats. There's no social cohesion. I was in the US last month and I smiled at people. They look at me as if there was something wrong with me. Americans look depressed and have very huge social anxiety. Yeah, I would say that's a big part of it. There's this idea of high trust societies and low trust societies. For example, a high trust society would be Japan. You can leave your camera gear out for like a full day and nobody's gonna steal it. And if somebody does steal it, it's probably another foreigner, probably not somebody that's a native Japanese citizen. Low trust societies are when you can't trust anybody for anything. Everybody's out to screw you, and you can't give anybody that chance to do that. So when it comes to interacting with others or trying new things or doing business with new people, it's very quid pro quo. You do something for me, then I'll do something for you. It's very rarely I'll do something for you and I'll just trust that you're not going to screw me over and that you'll do something nice back. And that can be from really small things to really big things. So for example, the smallest of the small, saying hi to a stranger while you're walking at a park. That's very low risk, and yet a lot of people, for fair enough, any given number of reasons, are not very trusting of just somebody that says like hi to them, essentially. And then that goes all the way up to business, dating, social life. Somebody wants to go on a trip. Okay, who's going to do the Airbnb? Can they trust that everyone's going to actually send them like money to reimburse them for putting down the direct deposit for the Airbnb? So it introduces a lot of social friction. friction to making things happening, friction to growing, friction to having a thriving social life. Yeah, this word right here is what I see people bring up over and over and over. It's isolated. And as somebody who is born and raised here, I absolutely can attest to that. It feels very isolating, even though at times you can be completely surrounded by people. It doesn't feel like there's any sort of connection. No one really knows who you are, and you have to put in tons of effort to get anywhere socially. Yeah, people no longer cultivate friendships or interact with each other. That goes back to that low trust society thing. Why should I say hi to you when I can turn on my magical black screen and have just instant blasting dopamine into my eye sockets and into my brain? Mental illness epidemic here. Yes, that gets into some other business, but all these mental illnesses out there, they do get exacerbated by not having a community, having a support network, and having friends, people that you can trust. Now, this one's pretty big too. It's gotten really expensive. I went to a cafe the other day, and a latte was, I think, $7 for just a plain 12-ounce latte. And I remember when Chipotle burritos used to be less than $7. So going out and doing things with friends, you have to be much more choosy. You can't just go out willy-nilly with potential friends or new people or whatever, because things are expensive, and now there's social friction. There's an actual cost to getting to know people now. I'm maintaining. I've never used that before, but I might introduce that to my dictionary. Just out here surviving. That's what everyone really wants to say, but people don't. Whew. This is what I was talking about earlier. The new American dream is to leave to another country. Anybody that's had the pleasure and privilege of visiting another country for either business or pleasure has seen that life could be so much different. Things could be cheaper. Things could be safer. Things could be more social. Things could just be more fulfilling when people are in a general mind state of we're in this together, and everyone's kind of giving each other more the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, third spaces, that's exactly what I was talking about right there. Car culture and dependency. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm a big fan of public transit. I didn't know how good it could be until I went overseas. I came back and I just did not want to drive. Even now, I just carpool with friends as much as I can if we're going anywhere over 30 to 45 minutes. Very individualistic culture. A lot of pros and cons inherent in that, but right now we're discussing the cons. There are pros to it though. Don't get it twisted. There are absolutely pros to that. Yeah. Most people find their social circle during high school and college years. Absolutely. And that's the devastating part, is if you move away from the friends that you made there, usually in the area. Now you have to start all over with people that already have their circles, and that can be a very intimidating process. Yeah, adults are selective and guarded. Low trust society. This is one thing too I think I have a very poignant example for. So for better or worse, my buddy and I were talking about this. For better or worse, the people that didn't have friends when we were in high school were the people that just they didn't fit in. They were strange. They had problems going on, and none of that inherently reflects badly on the individual. But you would meet these people and you would think to yourself, like, okay, I can kind of understand why this person has had problems thriving socially. The strange part is I have a coworker that was cool. She was one of the cool kids in high school, and she had no friends by the time she graduated. Not due to drama or anything, more so just because people don't apparently make deep connections in high school as much as they used to, and even if they do, they don't really maintain contact with them. So it's weird that it used to be the awkward kids that didn't have friends, but now even the cool kids in high school are graduating with no friends. So that's what kind of was very puzzling for us, and was a sign that things have absolutely changed. Yeah, I see. Yeah, sometimes you can look at people and you just see the sadness or emptiness in their eyes. Yeah, but this is like a take it or leave it sort of thing, because not every conversation is going to go somewhere, but more people should be trying. Even if the goal of the conversation is just to share a pleasant moment with a fellow human. Yeah, the fake plastic smiles, that's going to be a lot more endemic in some areas than others. If you're coming from the north, anywhere in the northern part of the U.S., you're not going to have to worry about fake plastic smiles. See, this is what I hear too. Colleges even, which is literally the most social environment most people are ever in their entire life. The most social environment, people are not socializing as much. And that was kind of wild for me to hear from people that are currently going through college, because even at like smaller schools, I'm not talking community colleges, because I get that that's a unique situation because everyone's commuting. But for your universities, like, it's getting less and less social, which is just wild, wild, wild for me to hear. Yeah, no sense of community here. People mistrust each other. That's a very apt description of a lot of people's mindsets when it comes to strangers. And unfortunately, there's legitimacy to those concerns. It feels like you're threading a needle between, like, being completely, like, distant from everyone and then being too trusting of other people. But yeah, great video by Kid Greatness.